So it's always this big debate about, single family homes or multifamily homes, which one is better, which ones you should do. It's gonna boil down to like what strategy, what exit strategy or what's your approach to the situation, right? And it's gonna be different, you know what I'm saying, as far as like fixing, flipping, or buying, holding as well too. So you just got to kind of look at both different routes. What I will say about, let's say if you're doing a fix and flip property, for like new investors that's coming into the game, I wouldn't mind you starting with a single family home, because when you get to multifamily homes, you're talking about, 2 bathrooms. You're talking about, there may be even, 3 or 4 different bathrooms depending on how many bathrooms are in those units. But you're dealing with, higher construction budgets because you have, 2 units. You may even have a basement on top of that versus a single family home. You might start with, a 3-bed, 1.5 bath or something like that. It'll be more square footage. So, if you as a new investor getting in the game, I say, flip a single family home first, before you go into 2 and 3 units. I wouldn't recommend, a brand new investor going into, trying to rehab a full gut rehab, 3 or 4 units. So, just figure that part out, right? Now, when you're talking about like the buy and hold process, I like to look at things like it's not really like a right or wrong. You just got to study your market, like really study your market. I'm not just saying it to say it, but like, check the houses on the block that you are thinking about, making an investment in. Ride down that block in the morning time, ride down that block at the nighttime, just to see. Sometimes it's a lot of houses on the block, so that means it's a lot of families that could be on the block. These type of homeowners, or tenants that's renting these homes, they tend to stay for a long time. The turnover is not high on single family homes. That's something that I did learn just doing multifamily investments. When you're doing like 2 units or 3 units and 4 units, I see the turnover is a little bit higher. You might get a tenant, for 2 to 3 years, to speak. It all depends, 2 to 4 years, right? But when you renting out maybe a home or something like that, I've seen and tenants stay as long as. Wait. Let me introduce myself. My name is 𝐬𝐿&x Jr. I'm a social impact real estate developer and a 7-figure entrepreneur. In the last few years, I've been able to scale my real estate portfolio to over 30 rental properties valued at over $6 million in just a few short years, all by leveraging credit. I've started a community and I want to invite you to for less than $2 a day. All you have to do is text the word group to the number below and I'll send over the details for you. If you find yourself struggling with removing late payments, collection, charge-off, bankruptcies, and different things like that, or you find yourself having difficulty getting approved for funding, let me work with you so that we can help you reach your desired results. So other than that, I don't want to hold you up. I want you to get back to the video, and I look forward to working with you in the near future. It's 5 years and, and longer than that. So those things is just something that I keep in mind. And they have switched over time, right? I didn't always, excuse me, I didn't always feel like this. That I would, that I would kind of basically like just stick myself to multifamily. But, if I do think about some investments moving forward, I would consider, single family homes just solely because I know of the longevity of that tenant, right? Back then when I first started, and of course I'm gonna always recommend multifamily as well, right? But if you find that home run deal, and the deal makes sense, it's not bad to start with a single family home. Your portfolio can be mixed from, residential to commercial, single family and multifamilies. We own about 3 condos, in Lombard, Illinois, and they are performing quite well. Right now, I do have to watch out things for like, vacancies and things like that when tenants do leave. That's a big con when it comes to doing single family homes is that, okay, now for that month, you have to cover that mortgage because y'all know the mortgages, they want to be paid out. They're going to get their money on the first. So a small tip that you could do is, and I learned this, is you can set your mortgage payment for like between the 10th or the 15th of the month. So now that gives the time for, you know, if you're renting to tenants, or if you're renting, you know, or your tenant's going through a program or something like that, they might not get the money on the first of the month. They might get the money, you know, on the 5th, on the 6th, on the 7th. But that gives you time to collect that before they just take that payment out. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that, like, these mortgage companies, they want their money. If you have a mortgage on it, they want their money and they take their money out on the first. They get paid first, and then you get paid from your tenants. You're collecting the rent from your tenants so that you can collect your money back. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, I love and I'm always going to prefer multifamily housing, but I'm not against single family homes as I once was. You know, you just really have to, you know, study the different strategies when it comes to real estate and see what works for you with your budget and your end goal, right? If I talk about, you know, purchasing your first property, right, I will always recommend that you start with a multifamily property because, you know, you set yourself up for this position. And it's a little bit tougher to get a house after you get it's a little tougher to get a multifamily after you already got a single family home. And just always, like, if you think about just setting yourself up, when you buy a single family home, it's like you're locking in. You know what I'm saying? It's all money going out and no money coming in whatsoever. And that's something to consider, you know, whereas with a multifamily property, even if one tenant rents out, you still got another tenant that's helping paying down that mortgage, you know, so it's not gonna hurt as bad, right? But also, even if you stay in that property, right, and I'll make another video talking about house hacking, but, you know, now if you staying in one unit, let's just say the average rent right now is about $2,000, and let's say because you got a tenant upstairs, now you're only paying $1,000 a month. Well, you're saving $1,000 a month. And now in 1 year, you saved up $12,000, and that money can be deployed into another investment or different things like that. So sometimes you don't have to find a new job. You just got to strategize and figure out, okay, how can I lessen my expenses, right? And what I do like about multifamily housing, if you're trying to purchase for your first property, they'll let you use up to about 75% of the income from that second and third unit, right? And you can confirm this with your realtor or your loan officer, you know, to help you qualify for that property. But it's just an amazing foundation to set yourself up starting there. And don't be wrong, don't be scared to sacrifice or to give up something, you know what I'm saying, your peace for a couple of years, because it can set you up for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people, you know, it's like, oh, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to be, you know, do this and do that. But, you know, we talking about generational wealth. We talking about, you know, setting a foundation for you, yourself, your family, your kids. Like, it's so important. Like, we all practice real estate every single day. We're all either renting, you know, or we're owning, we're doing something, you know, and it's my goal to just get you on the other side of it because there's so many different benefits, and you can really set yourself up far more than you can imagine once you learn this game and you play it right. So, you know, you just got to really understand the different strategies and know that, like, it's not one, you know, that's better than the next. You just got to see what works for you, your situation, and where you at, because they are, like, real estate is beneficial and you can get rich in real estate, like 110%. Don't believe anything otherwise. It's just a strategy. A lot of people lose money because they're not strategizing. They don't have mentors. They don't research and develop. They just doing, you know, whatever they see fit, and they're not really properly educated. And that's what's causing them to fail or have certain hardship when it comes to it. And it leaves a distasteful, taste in their mouths. Like, you know, just like, oh man, you know, I don't want to do this again. Well, you're not doing it the right way. If I told y'all how many times that people said, like, man, bro, you know, don't invest in real estate, don't invest in real estate, you know, but it's coming from people who don't actively own any real estate. You know what I'm saying? That don't know what they doing. So, you know, just keep that, you know, just keep that in y'all mind when y'all thinking about that. You know, but ultimately, to recap the video, when we talking about single family homes and multifamily homes, you know, just think about the pros and the cons of each. You know, like I said, ride through these blocks where you thinking about investing at. You know, see what that block is, you know, that block has. You know, try to purchase properties that's, you know, by schools and churches. These are some of, like, the tips that I use when I'm purchasing property, because, you know, even though you can invest in some areas that's not the best, you know, as long as it's near a school or a church or a park, you know, I really like those properties. And it's, you know, it's appealing for, you know, for tenants, and yourself if you're a homeowner too. So, you know, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you stay tuned. Drop any questions that you have below, you know, And let me know what you prefer below. Do you prefer single-family homes? Do you prefer multifamily properties? You know, let me know in the comments for all my landlords or my people that's aspiring to be landlords. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Let's get it.